Level 1. The intake. You arrive at the facility in the back of a transport bus, shackled at the wrists and ankles to men you've never met. The sound of the heavy iron gates sliding shut behind you is a final metallic note that signals the end of your life as a free person. They lead you into a cold, fluorescent-lit room where you are stripped of your clothes, your jewelry, and your identity, replaced by a number and a stiff uniform that smells of industrial detergent. You stand shivering as guards shout instructions you were too stunned to fully process, and by the time you are pushed into a small concrete cell, the reality of the walls becomes your entire world. Level 2. The newbie. Your first week is a blur of adrenaline and fear as you navigate the tiered walkways and the crowded mess hall. You quickly learn that silence is your only real protection, while you observe the unspoken social codes that govern the yard. Every glance from a stranger feels like a potential threat, and every loud bang of a cell door makes your heart race. You spend your nights staring at the thin mattress above you, listening to the muffled sounds of men shouting or weeping, wondering how you will survive the years of isolation that stretch out ahead of you.
Level 3. The general population. 6 months in, you have stopped jumping at the sudden noises and have found a rhythm to the daily schedule. You know exactly when the doors will click open for count and which areas of the yard are controlled by which groups. You have learned to move through the halls with a calculated indifference, keeping your eyes forward and your business to yourself. The world outside the walls begins to feel like a distant, fading dream, replaced by the immediate, physical reality of gray concrete, steel bars, and the constant hum of the ventilation system. Level 4. The hustler. Survival requires more than just staying quiet, so you find a way to make yourself useful to the internal economy. You start trading extra food portions or postage stamps for small luxuries like a better pillow, a radio, or extra soap. You develop a reputation as someone who can acquire things without drawing the attention of the guards or causing trouble for the factions on the tier. This role gives you a small sense of agency, but it also means you're always watching your back, knowing that a single broken promise can have violent consequences in a place where trust is the only currency.
Level 5. The hole. You spend 30 days in administrative segregation after a conflict you didn't start, confined to a cell barely larger than a closet. There is no sunlight, no clock, and no conversation, leaving you to measure the passage of time by the sliding of a food tray under the steel door twice a day. You start talking to yourself just to hear a human voice, and your mind begins to play tricks on you in the absolute crushing silence. This is where the mental weight of the sentence becomes heaviest, and you realize that the walls of your own mind can be more dangerous than the prison itself. Level 6. The trustee. After years of perfect behavior, you're assigned to a work detail in the kitchen or the laundry, giving you a blue uniform and a small amount of freedom. You're allowed to move between blocks with less supervision, and you have access to better food and news from the outside world. However, this position places you in a difficult middle ground, as the guards expect you to be their eyes and ears, while the other inmates watch you for any sign of betrayal. You live in a state of constant balance, trying to maintain the trust of the administration without losing the respect of the men you live with.
Level 7. The institutionalized. A decade has passed, and you no longer recognize the person who walked through the gates on that first day. The prison is no longer a place you are visiting. It has become the only home you truly understand, and the people inside are the only family you have left. You find comfort in the rigid, predictable routine and feel a deep sense of anxiety when you hear about how much the outside world has changed. The thought of smartphones, new laws, and the fast pace of modern life sounds like science fiction, and you realize you are more afraid of the gate opening than you are of staying inside. Level 8. The release.
The day finally arrives when they hand you a plastic bag with your old, out-of-style clothes and a small check for $40. You walk through the final gate and stand on the sidewalk, squinting against a sun that feels too bright in a world that moves too fast. The noise of traffic is deafening, and the sheer amount of open space around you makes you feel dizzy and exposed. You have spent a lifetime learning how to survive inside a box, but as you watch the bus pull away, you realize that no one ever taught you how to walk down a street where there are no walls to tell you where to stop.